Thank you for clicking on this Fun with Pete and Sherry video, Scotch fans. This is part 2 of today's double header, which is on monster scotches. And I just did the Pete Monster. Now I'm going to be reviewing a Sherry Monster. This is actually one of the most potent Sherry Monsters you can buy, though it doesn't get as much discussion as it should, I think, for various reasons, which I'll try to help identify. I'm talking about Macallan Cask Strength. Now, this is the same Macallan spirit as is usually served, except for a couple of things. It has no age statement on it, and it's served at very high alcohol content. That takes what is a very heavily sherried Scotch to begin with, and simply by not watering it down, cranks up the sherry flavor to extreme intensity. Now, you hear a lot about some sherry scotches, like Aberlour Abuna is the one that seems to be the more cool, but I note that Macallan Cask Strength is the one for which they charge a lot more money. Now, which one is better? Let's find out, shall we? Maple syrup and fruit roll-ups. Strawberry fruit roll-ups. Oh my. Look at that color. Look at that amazing color. Now, Macallan does not use artificial color, they swear, so you can take that to the bank as a real, honest color. That is a very, very deep auburn, brown and red. You almost couldn't get this color, artificial colors. You're only allowed to use one artificial color, and it's brown. You can't get that red, except from sherry barrels. There's no other way. Whew. The sharp fruit is evident. Oh my. Wow. Basically, if you like sherry scotch at all, what you get as you come in closer to this is very, very enticing. Ooh. The sharper, more tart fruit on the surface, and below that, maybe the spicier Christmas cake type flavors. Oh boy, oh boy. Now, I'm going to drop in water right away here. This is served at not a great deal. Again, very small amount. That's all that you need. This is served at 59.3%. That's a lot of alcohol, folks, and that becomes more important now as, well, people are getting even more serious about drinking and driving. In America, it seems that they're going to, or in Virginia, I should say, it seems that they're going to be lowering the BAC to 0.05 that they allow you to drive with. And I was a little concerned about this at first. I thought that just seems way too low. You know, on a Friday after work, I like to stop by, my neighborhood bar and have a drink. But goodness, after even one drink, you now have to wait a while before you get back in the car, and I thought, this is inconveniencing me. But then I realized it's not about me. It's about all the idiots out there who kind of believe that they have a little leeway, that they're kind of allowed to drink and drive a little bit, and unfortunately these morons are killing thousands of people every year, and it's been proven in examples where they've gone to this sort of zero tolerance policy that it does save lives. So we just have to kind of readjust, and you don't drink until you've gotten to wherever it is you're going to be for the evening. It seems a little antisocial sometimes, but it's the price we're going to have to pay. We don't want people dying, right? Especially mothers and children, trapped and burning alive. It's not worth it. It's really not. Okay, enough of that. Yow! Oh! Perhaps coming from the one monster and into the jaws of the second is even more intense, but oh my god. In terms of raw power of the sherry experience, I give Macallan Cask Strength the edge over Aberlour Abuna, perhaps the edge over Yamazaki 18, some other really strong sherry monsters I've had. Still looking forward to trying some Glendronach. My friends Pete Lover in Florida have been really, really enjoying that one, so I'm hoping to give it a try before too long. Whew. Wow, what you get here is that intense spicy fruit. Macallan makes it all feel like strawberry, sort of strawberry kiwi flavor, if you will. Many, many layers deep. It's so thick and sweet. This is almost like drinking a Macallan flavored liqueur. Wow. Really, really terrific. Just delicious and sweet. It's like candy. It's really very much like candy, but no candy ever had such a bold taste. Amazing, amazing. Now, in terms of complexity, I wouldn't say this is one note. It's more like two notes. You've got, as I say, you've got like the sharp fruit, and you've got the spiciness after it. I don't feel that it has, layers upon layers of complexity, but damn, knowing how rare the first fill sherry barrels are, all I can tell you is a great deal of investment went into creating something with this much sherry intensity in it. A great deal, and I highly recommend you giving Macallan Cask Strength a try. Particularly, it was a very good deal here in Virginia once, when it was only about $10 more expensive than Macallan 12-year-old. That price has gone up a little bit, which kind of makes sense. It's very popular, but still worth it, and it's still quite a bit less expensive than any of the more expensive Macallans. Strangely enough, I just got back from a vacation, as you know, and overseas they're already selling Macallan where they've gone to completely no age statement, and they're still selling, though, at the same levels. You can tell they're given different names now, different colored bottles. There's basically no way of looking at them and knowing which one is the more desirable, though, except for the price point. The one is priced at the price point of Macallan 12. It's about $60, $70. One is around the price point of a Macallan 18, $160, $170. One is more like the price point of Macallan 25, the ludicrous $800, $900, in that range. Now, it seems very odd to me that Macallan would do this, and I don't know whether it's going to work or not. They may have some reason for thinking it's a good idea that I don't know of, but people are paying for those ages with Macallan. They're paying for the Macallan name. They're paying for a certain tradition that they get with Macallan. They're paying for a certain tradition, and I just don't know if Macallan's marketing is that great. You recently saw Macallan probably in the most recent James Bond film. What was it? I don't know. Skyfall. In this scene, Macallan, a 50-year-old Macallan, is put in a shot glass on the head of a girl that James Bond recently had sex with, and the villain invites him to shoot it off with a pistol. When James Bond doesn't do it, the villain takes the gun, shoots the girl in the stomach, she keels over dead, and James Bond quips, "What a waste of good scotch." Now, I can understand why Macallan wants to be associated with James Bond. He's the most popular Scottish hero of the modern era. But why would they specifically want to associate themselves with the most misogynistic thing he's ever said in 40 years? I thought this scene was just greatly offensive. After that, when James Bond is rescued from this abandoned island, they presumably just leave this girl lying there to rot. No other mention of her is ever, he already had sex with her. In other words, so who the hell cares? So kind of odd choice there on Macallan's part. And I'm giving Macallan cask strength an 8.75. 8.75, and that's the end of my double header. Thank you for joining me. I will be back next week, actually, with another scotch that this was something that I got. I was very lucky. A lot of people talk about how they get their scotch here in Virginia. We're a very tightly controlled state, and everyone's always inviting me to get around the rules in various ways. It's all safe. Everybody does it, I'm assured. I had chosen a different path, and I play nice with the ABC around here, and sometimes I'm rewarded for that. There was a purchase that was to be made by a restaurant. Something was brought in specially, and that restaurant had gone out of business before it got here. And with this weird bottle of scotch, they had no idea who on earth might possibly want. Who did they call? They called Mr. Julian, and as it happens, it's the scotch I've wanted the most for about 2 years now. So I'll leave you to puzzle with that, and I will get back with you next week.